Afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Math 30-1, Chapter 2, Section 3, Part 6, I think. Too many. Well, I'm hoping you found the last set of questions easy and you skipped them, because here we're getting into the harder ones. So, number 13. Given y equals x over x plus a, the only thing I can really ask is what's the vertical asymptote? Well, once again, x plus a cannot equal 0, so x cannot equal minus a. Now, I haven't seen a question like, well, you get the odd question on the exam about this, but it's usually more in transformations. However, be prepared to see it. You can't graph it. You have to understand the theory behind it. Now, that's relatively straightforward. Number 14 is evil. Well, it's not evil, but it's nasty if you don't pay attention. So for the graph of the function f of x equals x squared minus a squared divided by 2x minus a times x plus a, the following statements were made. The domain is, the whole is, the vertical. Okay. Now, let's break this up and look at this and go, okay, so we have to figure out what's correct and what's incorrect. You've seen this before. It's often rewritten as 1 is true, 2 is false. So label them 1 or 2. Anyway, so the first one, the domain is x is all real, x cannot equal plus or minus a. Well, let's look at our denominator here. X plus a cannot equal 0. Subtract a, x cannot equal minus a. So that works. But the trick here, 2x minus a cannot equal 0. Add a to both sides. 2x cannot equal a. X cannot equal a over 2. That's wrong. So x cannot equal minus a or a over 2, but not plus a. Now, the next question is, or the next statement is, the whole is at minus a minus a half. Okay. Well, x cannot be at minus a. We figured out earlier. So if it's a whole, that means something cancels out. So let's look at our numerator. Our numerator is x squared. I'll color code that. Our numerator is x squared minus a squared, which difference of squares, x plus a times x minus a. And all of that is 2x minus a over x plus a. So it does simplify. We can factor stuff out. We can't graph it, but we can factor stuff out. So x plus a cancels out, x plus a cancels out. So this simplifies to x minus a over 2x minus a, as long as x does not equal minus a. Our point that cancels out. So the vertical asymptote, so no, I'm sorry, number 2. The whole is at minus a, comma minus a half. Let me see now. If x is minus a, then we plug in minus a over 2 times minus a, which is confusing me. But remember, if x is at minus a, then plug in minus a for x, and this becomes minus 2a over minus 2a minus a, which is minus 2a over minus 3a, or 2/3, not a half. So that's wrong. Okay, sneaky. You can't graph it. You have to understand the theory behind it, which is why I keep saying factor, simplify, then graph. Now, next statement, the vertical asymptote is at x equals a over 2. That is true because right here, for x over a, we showed earlier, x cannot equal a over 2, so that is correct. It does have a vertical asymptote. It doesn't cancel out. Number 4, the the horizontal asymptote y equals a half. Okay, now if you look at this function, it is x squared, the highest degree in the numerator is x squared, and the denominator is going to be 2x squared. So as x goes to infinity, y equals, sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself, the x squareds cancel out, so it's down to a half, and 4 is correct. Now 5 is automatically wrong, because you either have a horizontal asymptote or an oblique asymptote. In this instance, it's x squared divided by x squared. Powers are the same, so you cannot have an oblique asymptote. Can't do synthetic division there. So the correct answers are 3 and 4. Okay, so look at that. If you're having trouble, rewind and look at it again. Now going on to the last question. What if we give you the graph and ask you to work back to the equation? Work backwards, just to be evil. Thank you. So here's your equation. Now, 2 things to note. Vertical asymptote. So that means minus 2, x minus 2 is in denominator. Now the other thing to note, sorry, there's your vertical asymptote right there. The other thing to note is you have a hole at x equals minus 2. So think about that for a moment. You add 2 to both sides, so x plus 2 cancels out. So, what does this look like? Well, you have your x plus 2 cancels out, which means it's in the numerator and denominator, and you have x minus 2 in your denominator, which doesn't cancel out. Now, this would be a multiple choice question. How could you write this? Well, this is one way. Note, you have a difference of squares in the denominator, so that could be x squared minus 4. Or you could just have x minus 2 as long as x doesn't equal minus 2. That's your whole. That's your vertical asymptote. Now, I don't know which one it would be. My guess would be this middle one here. So then you'd have to do some work factoring and canceling stuff out. That's it for Chapter 2, Section 3. Good luck, and on to the next video.